Hello, Dreamforce. How are you guys? Guys, come on, show me some energy. It's first day. Yeah? Okay, awesome. So, before I start my presentation, a very important question. Can anybody tell me which Dreamforce it is? Come on. Anyone? Okay, yeah, Dreamforce 18. Now remember that, it will be very important. Okay, let's start, let's dig in. My name is Ritika Bhargav, and I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart to come to this meetup, for this session. I'm used to meetups. For this session on Lightning Data Services. I work as a Salesforce freelance consultant with 7 years of experience, and if you have any questions regarding this event and anything you want to talk to me in general about Salesforce, you can reach out to me in this email or the Twitter handle. Okay, so have everybody of you ever attended any Dreamforce, Trailhead DX, any event, meetup? Yeah? Okay, you know this slide very well then. Yeah? Okay, it just says that don't make any purchase decisions based on the awesome presentation that you're going to see today. Make it based on what is generally available in Salesforce. And yeah, that's good. So what we'll be covering today? The agenda, it's pretty simple. What is the necessity? What? Why? And what changed after Lightning Data Services? And we'll have a quick demo, and we'll have a look into the code. So when we talk about necessity, we have to mention this guy, Albert Einstein. He gave us a great quote. Necessity is the mother of all invention. And it's certainly true in case of Lightning Data Services. There was a call why we needed Lightning Data Services and why this was built. So let's check it out. The clicker. Yeah. So the necessity. Let's take an example. We have some components on our page. All of them components are asking for a particular record. They all are asking for the same record, basically. And we have a call going on. So what happens is the component is asking for that record to its controller. The message is sent to its JavaScript controller, and then to your Apex code. And it checks, it either queries it out, and it sends you back the result. So there's so much going on in this, the components are not collaborating with each other. They're not checking what data they want. And they are asking for SOQL query, Apex code, server calls, right? We don't need all those things. And this is a chaos which happens in this case. We have DF17, which was last year. Come on. So these are the components which are displaying the data from the same account. And it's all referencing the last year conference. And now we want to update it. What happens is the updation does not go through. It is connected just to one component. So one component makes the call. The other components are also showing the same data, Dreamforce 17. And if one of the components gets updated, right, DF18, it is again not collaborating with the other components in the same page, and it's confusing for the users. It's not consistent, the UI is broken, and users will get confused. So this is the chaos before Lightning Data Services, and we have Lightning Data Services for the rescue. So what got better? Obviously, all the complaints got answered. Well, not all, but yes, most of them. In this case, we have, again, these three components. These three components need the same data. But instead of sending their request individually, they are asking each other, or don't quote me per se, but it's something like a collaboration is going on in between them. Component 1 is saying, I need account. Component 2, yeah, account. So what happens, instead of having 3 separate requests, we have just one request. The data is stored in your shared cache in your machine on the client side, and it says that, hey, this is the data that we need. And we need it to 3 different components. Can you see that this data is fetched? There is no server call because we have an awesome guy taking care of it. And there's just one thing which happens is from here, Lightning Data Service force record data component is used, and it does this call for you. So there's just one delivery guy and 3 different components connected to it. OK. Yes, so what we saw as an example earlier, DF18 in component 1, and then it gets notified. It notifies the other components that, hey, I just got updated. My data is now referencing DF18, not DF17, and it should be updated in your case too. The other components are notified automatically. You don't have to write any single line of code for this. And the other components get updated as well. OK, so this is a demo. It's a very basic thing what you can do, but it tells you the magic of Lightning Data Services. What is happening over here, we have a component for viewing the account data. We have the standard detail page, and we have edit account component, which can update the record directly from here in this page. So when we do this, when we edit it, anywhere this data is being referenced, the name, the email, it got updated automatically. And you just had to use force record data component for this. Right? So this is the party which happens after this updation. All the other components, they are updated to DF18. And other things to note about it is, not only is it uniform, but it did not ask you for taking care of sharing or security. It has that inbuilt capabilities which takes care of that as well. OK, so we have been saying no code for very long. But no code does not mean no code, literally. We are not using Apex for performing the basic CRUD, that is create, read, update, or delete operations. We are not doing any SOQL queries. We are not doing server calls, basically. But we still need to write some code. It's the declarative code on your component side, and it's some controller code in your JavaScript controller. You can, OK, so this is our hero. This is the force record data, which takes care of all these operations automatically. And let's go through all the attributes one by one. Aura ID, that is just in case you want to reference this component in your JavaScript side. Record ID, this is fetched if you have force has record ID interface implemented in your component. This is fetched automatically. It gets synced, and you can get this value, record ID. This is the record, which is then transferred. Can you see the target record attribute? So in that, we have this record auto-populated based on the record ID. Then we have layout type, which specifies the compact or the full layout which you want to use. These layouts are defining the fields which you want to show in your component. And if you say full layout, then it will just pull in all the fields from your layout, and it will show them. Then we have fields. If you don't want to specify the full or compact layouts, you can use the fields to specify directly. This is to specify one or two fields for the record to query, and then to fetch the simple record, which is then fetched into target fields. So we have target record, which is having all the metadata related to that object and that record being queried. And we have target fields, which is a simple version of target fields, which is just having the fields which you are querying in the layout or through the fields. If you want to use the layout as well as fields, you can combine both of them. And what happens in that case is that the layout fields are also queried along with the couple other fields which are missed in your layout. And then we have mode, which is view. So another option that we have for that is edit. So you can specify whether you're just going to view the component or you're going to edit the component as well. Then the last is target error. In case we are performing any operations in this component, then we have a target error, which will specify any errors which are thrown during that transaction. OK, and no hero is there without his superpowers. So we have a couple of functions which support, and these all functions could be implemented in your JavaScript controller. We have save record. We have delete record. These methods are directly doing simple CRUD operations. It's save is either insert or update. Then you have delete, right? It's pretty much self-explanatory. Then we have get new record. Get new record loads the general template for a record. You specify which type of record you want, either contact or any custom object. You specify the API name for that object, and you specify the record type, and you can fetch the new record. And basically, it will just load a new template for that record. Now, once you perform any CRUD operations on that, not any CRUD operations, if you perform insert or update, and you need to reload that data, you call reload record function. This is so that the things are more consistent. If it is directly being handled on your component, it's not consistent. It gives some error. So once you do any save, it's recommended that you take reload record function, you call it, and then it is fetching the fresh values, the updated record, and it updates those records into target record. OK, so let's check another example. And we'll also be seeing a little bit of code this time. In this, have you heard of Fit for Dreamforce? No? OK, it's a simple group. Basically, it encourages people to come to Dreamforce and be fit for it. So before you come for Dreamforce, maybe 1 or 2 months back, it started a program that you can enroll in it, and it will give encouraging exercises for you to do so that you can be more fit for Dreamforce. And I basically get inspired by that idea. I just wanted to make sure that I was on target, and the daily target as well as the weekly target are being achieved. That program basically helped me to lose around 3 kgs, which is not much, but it is still something, right? OK. So in this, I have steps taken for the day. So I have not worked anything. That's showing 0. But the daily target for me was 12,000 steps. And it calculated the weekly target as 84,000. Then I have the week total, which was previously how much I have covered. So it was 61,000. And I have simple components over there, fit for Dreamforce, which shows me the daily progress as well as the weekly progress. And it motivates to do more exercise or whatever, so that I get the motivation for the day. So in this, the daily progress, I have not done anything yet. Sorry. Okay. There's some problem with the video. Okay. So I've not done any progress for the day. But for weekly purpose, have done, and it is showing me that I have still only 23,000 steps to walk. Then, if I go and update the steps taken, it will recalculate my daily progress, it will recalculate my weekly progress, and it will update the charts based on my steps that I have updating on the steps taken. Now, the interesting thing about this is that I have actually not written any Apex for this. Everything which is being shown here is based on just the component, and I've used some styling for uploading the charts. So if it is 12,000, 6,000, so I've covered 50% of that. Let's move ahead. And I have also completed 100%. Okay, so not realistic, but I just wanted to show you the charts and how the progress is covered. So let's see the code. I mentioned Force has record ID earlier. That is the interface which is fetching me the current record value. And it is populating that in my Force record data component. This Force record data component is having record and, target fields based on that, which is referenced as v.record. Then I'm having just a calculation done based on some formula that I have computed. And I'm just showing a particular class for a div. That class is selected right over here. So you can see that it's not much code, just a little bit, so that my components get updated. And let's check the CSS as well. It's this simple. Okay. To make a component using Lightning data services is that simple. And you didn't have to do much of the code. There's hardly any code written until and unless you're performing the update or edit functionalities and delete. In that case, you need to write a little bit of JavaScript controller code. OK. So we covered what is there, what we can do. But what are the future-tastic updates that are going to come for Lightning data services? So one is bulk support. Right now, what we saw, it is just covering one record. It's not being able to update based on a list. And even if you put multiple components in the same component, multiple Force record data statements, it will support, but it will somewhat slow your system. I tried it out, and it was somewhat slow in performance. So if you are keen on that, there's still bulk support. There might be a different tag for that, but it will be coming soon. Again, forward-looking statements. And then we have object metadata support. You remember the target record attribute? So that target record attribute was having some of the metadata stored in your Lightning data services component. Okay, it's not accessing just the fields. It will be having a little bit more information, not right away, but it will be there. And that support is yet to come. Then we have service trigger updates. Now, let's say take a scenario where you and your manager are working worlds apart, and you guys are seeing the same screen, and your manager updates a value in the component. When this value is updated, it will be updated for his components, like if there are 4, 5, 10, it does not matter. So it will be updated for his screen, but it will not get updated for you. And that is a big drawback. And this is probably the most awaited thing, most exciting thing for me. So there will be changes in that, so that you can basically publish and subscribe, something similar to streaming API. And you'll be able to fetch the data automatically. Again, no code. OK, so what is the next step? Earn those badges. Go after them and get them. You'll get a lot of exposure on Lightning Data Services. And there's also a project over there that you can do to build up your confidence. OK, so do we have any questions?